my husband Lou, who's a chiropractor also, right down the street. But he's going to be shooting just a couple photographs of me talking in the beginning if you hear any clicking. And we are videotaping from the back, so don't worry, your faces won't be in the back of your beautiful head. But thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
I'm going to be talking about something that I really care a lot about, which is teaching people that angels exist. How many people already connect with their angels? You know, some. Now, you may not realize it, but you already are. And what that is paying attention to your feelings, your intuition, your thoughts, your messages, but mostly your intuition. I'm a life coach and an angel intuitive. So I channel messages from the angels when it's nothing very spooky, it's nothing very highly metaphysical. I just listen. Just like you would listen to your own inner guidance, that's your angel talking. So angels are for all people, regardless of their background, regardless of their spiritual path, their religion. Angels are pure love. All right, so they exist, they've been around forever, and we all have guardian angels, special ones that are near us, but in this moment, in this very moment, 10 million angels are all around us. If you can imagine like drops of sunlight glimmering, that's how much angel support is all around us. And why did I stop? I'm also an actor and an angel. But why did I stop pursuing that a lot and move over to angel? Is because stress. My husband's a chiropractor. I understand stress. I've been married to him for 30 years. Stress is the #1 thing that affects everybody. I would assert that every one of you are going to go down to the second floor and go to different booths to find out something that helps you feel better. Helps you feel better. I know I love my crystals. I love my good vitamins and supplements. I love some good food, pure water, getting special body treatments every now and then. But we all have it within us right now to connect with our own intelligence, your own special wisdom. Some call it the Akashic Records. Each one of us has a blueprint that's within you, having come to you after many lifetimes. And at this time, right now, there's a lot going on in the world that can affect our stress, right? And what's happening right now is that I talk about Atlantis. So what is Atlantis? We have a connection to the time when 10,000 years ago or more, we had special abilities. Some of us already have those abilities. We're using them. We might call it clairvoyance. We might call it clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance. What do I mean by that? You're highly intuitive. You know how to heal something. You know guidance. You have that special knowing. Some of you may be using that already as teachers and healers. But all of us have this ability to heal ourselves. Okay? So the information right now that's on the planet is very different than it was before 2014. Can't say exactly what happened in 2014, but I know this. We're all activated to a higher level. How do we know this? You can only feel like through the internet, social media, information. It's very, very available. We know about chakras. We know about spiritual paths. We know about a lot of different modalities. We didn't really know about this before. And we also understand something called karma. Regardless if you really believe it or not, you could ask someone, do you believe if you do something good to someone that something good may come back to you? Or if you do something not so good, you know, you might create that energy coming back to you. So we understand energy. So we've moved from 3D, 4D, to 5D. 3D, third dimension reality. 3D living, reaction. Something happens, you get pissed off. Something happens, say something happened in our family, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and they will tell you that this happened to them and their family 100 years ago. That's 3D. That's holding on to resentment. And we all know that. We've heard it. So-and-so in this family is this way because this happened and this is what they said, and they repeat that. But something shifted. Many of us have learned, we didn't want to carry around that energy, that resentment from our families. We love our families. We really do. But they press our buttons, and they press our buttons so we can grow. And many of us have learned how to surrender. That is the fourth dimension. So we move from reaction. Something happens, we get pissed off. Something happens, we hold on to anger. React, react, react. Fourth dimension. We've reacted so much. It caused havoc in our health. It caused us upset, sleepless nights. Affected our relationships. And we said, higher power, God, Goddess, whoever you work with, I surrender. I don't want to carry this around anymore. And many of us move to fourth dimension. So what is fifth dimension? Fifth dimension is living from your heart. Now, not easy, but how many, I think, secretly would want to be, walking around enlightened. Being able to walk through Times Square, Penn Station, and let things just affect us and we just walk through gracefully. Let people say things and we could just let it just roll off of us. We could learn how to do that. The alternative is we bounce back to the third dimension, holding on to stress, holding on to resentment, and that stays in our body. I wanted to learn about the angels, share about the angels, because the angels taught me how to live without fear, how to give my fear over to them. So if you have something that you're afraid of, you literally can do this. Imagine it like a ball and just tossing it over to them. I'm also going to do a healing meditation. You're going to feel and experience what it's like to have your cords cut. Many of the speakers do this. So energy-wise, the angels will help us clear the third dimension energy, which is anger, resentment, fear, rage, jealousy, sadness, and the sadness in an inordinate amount, right? It's healthy to have a little sadness, but when you're just immersed in it, depression, right? So the angels can help us. Again, they're for everybody. You don't need a special prayer. You don't need special beads. You don't need special crystals. Though, those things can help. They can definitely help. But in the beginning, all you have to do is talk to them, like I'm talking to you. And you talk to them, you don't have to talk to them out loud, but you can talk to them through prayer, through your heart, through your mind, and they hear you. They hear you right away. One of the things the angels wanted me to talk about today, and I'm going to talk about, I just talked about moving from 3 to the 5th dimension. Once you activated the 5th dimension, you don't have to worry. You will never go back to that horrible feeling of being so depressed. If you could believe that, if you could believe, have faith, now I feel like I'm a preacher, if you could have faith that you have been heard, that depression doesn't have to run you anymore. That anger, that loss. So what are you having faith in? You're having faith that you feel good. That you feel good once and for all, and that it can last. Will it last every single minute? Probably not. Because we have a brain, we have a gut, we eat things that affects our brain, changes how we think. So one of the things I talk about is take care of your body, as it is the listening device. We're not just going to hear angels from this ear or from my eyes. It's from my skin. So if I am drinking 6 Heinekens and 2 cognacs, which I used to do in my 20s, I'm probably not going to hear my angels. I'm going to hear something. I used to hear Dave Letterman talking to me. He was talking to me. And on some level, if you smoke a little pot or you do a little drugs, yeah, you might have an experience, but is it really going to last and take you to the next day where you got to be with your family or your job or your projects? Probably, not. the angel said, yeah, but some of these artists, they suffered so much, and they suffered so much, and they cut off their ear, and they did this and that, and they became very famous. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you having an extraordinary life, working with the angels. All right, so what does that mean? It means having a belief, not even belief, test it out if you don't believe in angels. Ask them to assist you, and then look for a message. Look for a message. Now, if this is your listening device, and you're taking care of it, and you're exercising, and you're eating right, your brain or your body's going to be able to receive. I remember when I was really nervous, when I was a dancer, what I would do is starve myself. If you starve yourself and be very, 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 very thin, you're still not going to be able to listen, because your body is, your body's having a hard time. Or you eat a package of Oreos, or you do the alcohol and drugs that I did 29 years ago. You're not going to be able to receive. So, you take on taking care of yourself. And then listen, you may need help. You may need a chiropractor. You may need a nutritionist. You may need a book. But there's so much help available. Now, so I talked about the fifth dimension. Understand that I am telling you, your heart has been activated. Your heart has been activated. The other thing is that you have so much more energy than you realize. Now, how do you tell that to people who say, I am so tired? Most of us walk around, I am so tired. And you could even be in your 20s, and I'm so tired. So tired is also in our mind, but tired is also that we're battling ourselves, we're not paying attention to the messages that the angels are telling us. Simple angel message may be drink more water. Nothing profound. Nothing like, you need to do this to your chakra and this and that. No, you need to drink more water. Hydration. Or maybe give up Krispy Kremes. Maybe have one Magnolia banana pudding, which my husband likes, right? You can't have that every day. It just clogs your system of receiving. So when you take care of yourself, you see the blessings. You walk out of here today and you see and you hear something that is exactly what you need. Exactly what you need to hear to do the next thing. When I wanted to get married at 35, I started looking for messages. And one of the messages was, go to a healthy singles party at the Limelight Zone. No, I do not want to go to a healthy singles party, right? But I went, and I was uncomfortable. That's the other thing the angels are talking about. The angels aren't just little soft, fluffy little creatures that are going to, fluff up your wings. They're going to make you courageous. They're going to make you do things that you've been wanting to do all your life and walk through your fear. They're going to hold your hand while your knees are shaking, your hands are sweating. Because most of us are not living with persistence, resilience. We're not doing that. We live in a world where we want quick answers. We want quick answers like no kidding for everything. So, is it going to be easy to live an extraordinary life? What is an extraordinary life? Having peace. Like I could have peace when I went bankrupt. Yeah, we went through bankruptcy. Not easy to have the guys come to your door and say, we want to take everything. And I did shake. But we worked this out with the IRS. We made some bad choices, but we worked it out. Or when we were held up by gunpoint in Queens at a restaurant. Not a pleasant thing. But they held my hand. And from there, I got a doctor to help me with a little pill to help me for a couple of weeks because I was shaking. I didn't know that this incident was going to do this to me. But I didn't need to carry this to the next part of my life, I want to say. Or things that happened to me when I was very, very young. I was always protected. I was always protected. So I'm not going to go into too many stories, but if you listen to my radio show sometimes, or some other talks, you're going to hear some personal stories where the angels really helped me just keep moving. I mean, one thing I can say, I was extremely, extremely, extremely shy. I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't be here telling you my personal things. But the angels assisted me at one point. I knew I wanted to learn how to express myself. I was a dancer. I didn't have to use my mouth. I was a painter. I didn't have to use my mouth. But all of us have that in us. We really want to use our mouth. We want to use our voice. The third chakra is activated for everybody. When we don't use our voice, we don't speak up, we don't create. Because you're creating from the third chakra. You're creating with the angels from your voice. Every word you speak is turning into reality. Every word you speak is creating your life. Every thought. It's scary, right? But I'm here to say, listen, start practicing the opposite. If you're always worrying, which is basically praying for what you don't want, it's time to say, I am joy, I am filled with joy, joy comes to me. Not like we're icing a cake, like a mud pie, like we're icing mud. No. Things may not be perfect in your life, but if you connect to joy, you connect to angels, you're going to bring yourself to that, and you're going to bring more of that to you. Okay? So we have 12 chakras right now. I don't think I said that yet. Right, we have 12 chakras. We don't have just 7. I'm not going to go into it in depth right now, but I'm going to say this. You know you have 7 chakras. If you don't, those are the basic ones from 3D. But now with our heart activated, and what does that mean? It means that we now have available to us all the information that we've ever wanted. And many of you have felt that. And you know what? It's true. It is true. So stop doubting yourself that you don't have the answers. You have your own inner answers. And the angels will help you with that, and the angels will help give you some confidence. So the 12 chakras are, the very first one at the top is the stellar gateway. So if you take your hands and you go like this, at the very tip of your fingers, that's the opening of the stellar gateway. And what is that? It's the opening, right, up on your head like this, is the stellar gateway. And that's where all the information is going to come in from the cosmos and everything into your system. Okay? The next one is the soul star, and that's about 10 inches above your head. And then we have the causal, which is kind of like your private moon aura. And then you have your crown chakra, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus. And then another new chakra that's activated is the navel. It used to be called the root chakra. And the root chakra used to be associated with fear, survival, horrible sexual partners. It's not that. What it is community. Many of us have already learned how to seek out better partners, seek out knowing that fear and survival is not the only way. So the navel is so important for grounding yourself. It is more important to connect to your navel than to keep connecting to stuff above you. Because we already have enough. We've been activated here. What many of us are missing is connecting to Earth. As they say, being grounded. Many of us in the spiritual world, New Age world, we're often called spacey. Because we're like always talking about crystals and fairies and unicorns, which are wonderful if we understand them. But if they don't help us pay the rent, right? And if they don't help us in our life with our spouse and our relationships, or we're hiding, that my leprechauns didn't help me today, so this is why this is happening. So grounding. We're in New York City and the surrounding area. If you can walk barefoot on grass, that's the best. Take your shoes off and let yourself feel the ground under your feet. Having a pet in your house is a wonderful way to ground. 2, 3, or 4. I have 5. 5 cats. Grounding also includes your food, how to eat correctly, so that you'll be grounded instead of very lightheaded and just up in the spheres. Right? We need to ground ourselves. Ground with a crystal. You can get a quartz crystal down on the 2nd floor, and when you meditate, that energy, you can charge that like a computer. And that crystal can be with you at all times. So if you do something that's deeply relaxing, and in your very powerful meditative state, you can charge that crystal. literally by saying, I'm putting this energy in your crystal, and it's there like a computer. There's whole technology with crystals that you can learn about to help you stay grounded. So I talked about that, and now what I want to talk about is, I want to do this. You know, many of us, how many of you have heard of Louise Hay? Beautiful. How many have used this book? Okay, this book is remarkable. I used this book in the early 80s, and I went from a really third-dimensional living as a struggling waitress, working 3, 4, 5 jobs a week to pay my rent for a studio apartment on West 23rd Street, and, you know, like watching Dave Letterman with my 6 Heinekens and cognac at night, right? My life. And wondering why my college education wasn't helping me, and I wasn't getting anywhere, and kind of complaining. That's also a symptom of living in the third dimension. Now, like I said, you might go back there for a moment, but who you are is fifth dimensional. You've already been activated with. So you can accept that I am my higher self. You can even say that if you want to with me. I am my higher self. And what that means is your higher self is within you. Before, we were separate. And we had this idea that I'm separate from my greatness, I'm separate. We all know that that's not true. We are our higher self. So when you are looking at your illness, or your bank account, or your relationships, or even the politics of this country, when we say, I am my higher self, perhaps that's going to give us a little bit more focus on what we can do and what we can envision. And everyone in this room, we all visualize the same thing, which is peace, brotherhood, equanimity, people loving one another regardless of race and color. That's how we can change the world. So with this book, I just want to go over this one affirmation. Now, affirmation in the 90s, people were saying, oh, they don't mean that much, they're just words, but it's a different time now. It's a different time. Our words are going to make a huge difference. Our words, you can remember when people said words to you when you were a child that were not so great, and they marked us like a burn. They stayed with us, they stayed in our heart. You know, my mother was depressed when I was growing up. And we're great now, she's great now. She's 85 years old, and she's been married to my father for, what, 65 years. You know, so she's doing fine. But she had a hard time being Japanese coming to the United States, not speaking English in the 50s. After the Korean War, they were not treated so great here, the Japanese. And so she was really depressed, and I'm the oldest child, so she put everything on me. Or I chose her to train me, you know, which is another perspective. But what I want to say is that there were things that she said that weren't so pleasant. And basically she spewed on me her own anger. But it took me a while to realize it wasn't that she didn't love me. You know, I was there for her to say these things, and she wasn't happy. But it took me a few years for me to realize I could wash that away. I didn't have to wear that thing that she said. So if she said that you will never be nothing, did she really mean it? Probably not. But in the moment of her desperation and upset, it just came out of her. And probably someone said that to her. Right? But again, she's peaceful today, I'm peaceful today, I can forgive her, and affirmations can help us. So day to day, minute to minute, you want to take a look at, we're going to do the healing meditation, but you want to take a look at, where am I upset? All right? And most of us, New Yorkers or people on the planet, we have some level of upset. Right? I mean, you can see what's happening in the world. It could be that happening, or things happening in our own life. The new practice is going to be is affirming our peace, affirming our joy, and giving over this, any upset over to the angels. Just like a cord. The cords are thoughts and energy patterns between you, my body, and the thing that I'm worried about. Me and this thing that I'm thinking about. Me and my thoughts about my boss. Me and the thoughts about my husband. Lower energies. Lower energies that are upsetting you. All right? And if you ask the archangels to help you, Archangel Michael or Metatron is who I use a lot, to cut these cords, just like this. Nothing fancy. But what we're doing is we're telling our brain is that I am allowing that this cord of upset is going to be cut. And when it's cut, it falls away. So what the angels are saying right now is take a look at how good do you want to feel? How good do you want to feel? Regardless of what you're going through. And you can feel even better than that, and you can feel good ongoingly. And if you slip back into not feeling so great and you need support, you ask the angels, I'm having a hard time today. And they will help you. So you're not alone. I told you, the 10 million angels are all around you, like a comforter, like a down comforter, right? And you have special guardian angels with you also. Now here is an affirmation I just want to share with you. I share this a lot on my radio show. And as you listen to it, there may be things that are not true for you, but you would like for them to be true. All you have to do is let it in. Just let it in. All right? And pay attention to the special words that cause you to press your buttons. Because that's where you want to, like, all right, cut that cord on that thought that says that I'm unworthy or I'm not beautiful or I don't deserve. Just see that. And then we'll do the cutting cords meditation right after this. So from a Louise Hay's book, who I attribute, like, this book helped me find my husband. It helped me become an actor at age 40. It helped me get my artwork on Access Hollywood as a painter. And it was because I changed my thoughts. I went from somebody telling me, you're nobody, you'll never be anything, to something else. Right? So here we go. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I live in harmony and balance with everyone I know. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my heart, my body, my mind, my consciousness, my very being, and radiates out from me in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It is an expression of my inner joy. I love myself, therefore I take loving care of my body. I lovingly feed it nourishing foods and beverages. I lovingly groom it and dress it, and my body lovingly responds to me with vibrant health and energy. I love myself, therefore I provide for myself a comfortable home, one that fills all my needs and is a pleasure to be in. I fill the rooms with the vibration of love, so that all who enter, myself included, will feel this love and be nourished by it. I love myself, therefore I work at a job I truly enjoy doing, one that uses my creative talents and abilities, working with and for people I love and who love me, and earning a good income. I love myself, therefore I behave and think in a loving way to all people, for I know that which I give out returns to me multiplied. I only attract loving people in my world, for they are a mirror of what I am. I love myself, therefore I forgive and totally release the past and all past experiences, and I am free. I love myself, therefore I live totally in the now, experiencing each moment as good and knowing that my future is bright and joyous and secure. For I am a beloved child of the universe, and the universe lovingly takes care of me, now and forevermore. All is well in my world. So, now my husband's saying, so you're going to clean up the house so that, you know, so it's a beautiful place and people can come in. But you know, we all have our buttons, right? Every time I do this, I go, oh yes, the house, we're going to clean the house.
You say, I love my house.
I love my house, right. So, this is a book. It's like, goodness gracious, $15. The affirmations in it are so powerful. And it can sound even a little corny to say I love myself that much, but you know,